It's International Women's Day, and my guest is an empowered woman. She owns a company called the Empowered Cookie. It's not just a cookie, and she's not just a baker. The cookies are amazing, but more importantly, her message behind the cookies, oh, it's incredibly empowering. See, she wants you to have your cookie and eat it too. Ladies, this one's for you.
Hey baby, it's time for the NIKKI ALPERT Podcast. Come on, pull up a chair. We gonna have some fun.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the NIKKI ALPERT Podcast. My guest today is Natalia Barr. Hi, Natalia.
Hi, Nikki. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. There are so many reasons for the excitement. Number one, Natalia is the founder of, I'm going to show you, the Empowered Cookie that is made by Barr Necessities. How cute is that play on her name? And I start my day with these cookies every single morning. They are what I dream about when I go to bed, and I know that they're waiting for me. I'm so excited about this. She's my sponsor. I've never had a sponsor before, and she's supporting me. She's a woman who loves women in business, and we are now doing this together, and I am so thrilled. Thank you so much, Natalia.
My pleasure. I'm happy to fuel your days and feed as many women and people as we can. So we're all about it.
We are all about that. Okay, so there are so many places we could start this, but let's start at the beginning of, tell me what the Empowered Cookie is to you.
Oh, it's my brainchild. I don't have kids yet, so the Empowered Cookies are my children. The Empowered Cookie is my impact on the food system. It is a collaboration of all the things I'm obsessed with, and that is plant-based nutrition, environmental issues and sustainable food supplies, and health and nutrition, and things that really everyone wants to reach for, something that when they're hungry satisfies their hunger and makes them do the happy dance with delicious, this is so good, I'm gonna hide it from my husband so good. And a lot of healthy food isn't like that. And so as somebody who's a pastry chef, not by trade but by passion, and by somebody who's geeked out, I'm really like a health nut in a lot of ways. And the Empowered Cookie brings all of those things together. It is everything you want in a cookie. Taste wise, it's like cake-like texture. It's really soft. We intentionally soft bake them so they're like very pliable. And then nutrition wise, it's got like high fiber, high plant-based protein, high quality fat, low carb. I know every woman on the planet wants low sugar. And so it's just a yes, yes, yes. And it's also vegan. And that's something that I'm, in my years of being in food, realized it's so important to promote as much plant-based nutrition as possible, not only for people's health, but so that we can harm less animals in the process. And it's also more carbon neutral to work with plants for the supply chain. So it's, I go to bed being like, damn, I love what I do. I'm glad I'm doing this, and I feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do.
Okay, I'm glad you're doing it. And and it's not just a cookie. I'm going to show this to people because honestly, you guys, first of all, look at this thing. Look how moist and yummy and delicious it. I mean, honestly, it's going to fall all over my computer.
Anyway, you're making,
So,
I'm gonna eat like,
yeah, are we salivating yet? So I can also attest to the fact that these are low carb, and I'll tell you why. I have tried many low carb things, and not because I'm an obsessive dieter girl. I'm a type 1 diabetic. So when the low carb thing became really popular, which was long after I was diabetic, I would test things out, like the famous cookies that came out first, that were not vegan, were not paleo, had lots of dairy in them, which I also can't do. And I had like, it was supposed to have one carb in the bar. And I'm not going to say their name, but we probably all know what I'm talking about. And all my girlfriends were eating them. I had a quarter of a bar, and my blood sugar shot up to 250.
wow.
So I'm the attest to, or is that the right word, attest? I can attest to the fact that I can eat an entire cookie with 1 unit of insulin, which I know means nothing to anybody, but I know by testing what is low carb and what isn't. And this is low carb.
No, and that's why I don't know if a lot of your viewers are hip to what coconut nectar is, but if you're trying to do low carb, that's what we use as a sweetener. And it's the sap from a coconut flower, and it pours like maple syrup. It's a little bit thicker. And so it rates a 35 on the glycemic index. I mean, we can geek out about like sugar stuff.
Right.
I've learned a lot more than is even like useful to me, but there's a lot to understand about what you see on a nutrition label isn't what processes in your body. Mm-hmm. So yes, something might read low carb, but what else does it have in there? Does it have high fiber? Does it have good quality fat so that when it's all assimilated, you don't have these spikes.
The spike in blood sugar.
Totally.
Exactly. Okay, for a minute, let's go back. This is your logo, which I love.
You flexing. Yeah, she's looking a little stronger than I am, but I'm working on it.
But she represents like Rosie the Riveter and the power of women. And I want to talk about that because, again, you guys, every morning, like I'm OCD about my routine. So at nighttime, I prepare my coffee and I get you too. I get my coffee ready and I put my cookie out, and I've been eating these things for like 3 years. I've been telling my friends about them. I've been sending them to friends as gifts. Everybody I've ever introduced them to loves them. But it's so much more than that. And it's called the Empower Cookie, but I think that kind of goes over people's heads. And today is March 8th that we're filming this, and it's International Women's Day. And Natalia is a woman who was fighting for all the things that we have power to do. So talk to me about the quote on your email. I can't remember it specifically, but I'm guessing you do. What that means to you and what the empowerment part of your cookie means for us.
So glad you asked. Nobody ever asked me about that quote. And I'm like, put it in bold, italicized. I'm like, don't people care? This is so
Yes, cool. We do care.
It says that your grocery cart is your most powerful, accessible tool for social change and environmental change. And we're grocery shopping every day, like against our will, something we all have to do, whether it's online or at the stores. And it's an inevitable part of life. And we have, every time you put something in your mouth, the repercussions of that, the behind the scenes implications of the food system, of the planet we live in, of whether our kids are going to have fish to get out of the ocean. I mean, there's just huge topics that go back to the very simple things as what food you put in your cart and what you're feeding your family, and who's doing that? Women. So women are the gatekeepers to how Americans eat. We are deciding like not only how we eat, do we eat in the car? Do we eat snacks? Do we eat on the go? Or are we cooking with our families? And what food are you bringing home? And I don't think women have grasped the huge power that we have.
We are 85%, we are responsible for 85% of the spending in America.
I mean, that's massive. I mean, you might as well call that 99. I mean, that's
a
huge push. That power comes with such a potential to change. And I think everybody wakes up being like, hey, if I can do great in my day, if I can be of service today, I would. But we all think about that as like writing a check to the Humane Society or volunteering. But eating is a huge way to make a positive change. In a brand, you have to make it fun. You have to be like, newsflash, everybody, you're super powerful. Let's do this and let's enjoy every bite of it. And so that's what the Empowered Cookie is. It's like, hey, yes, you're powerful. You're swiping your credit card. You're putting food in your mouth. That is in and of itself. If you did nothing else today but shopped healthily, you made a big change. And the amount of times we eat in a day, I mean, the numbers are there. You can put your finger on the change. And women should feel pumped about that.
So not only that, I'm going to go a little deeper, but not into the whole environment thing, but just how much this means for women. Being that we spend 85% of the spending, I'm not saying that, right? But that we're responsible for 85% of the spending. What it means to have the power in your shopping cart is that if you don't buy the crap food, and you do buy the food that is healthy, that isn't made with palm oil and vegetable oil and GMO'd corn and all of that stuff, then you are saying no to the companies that are successful that no one's paying attention to. And you're saying yes to the companies that are trying to actually make the FDA pay attention to making us healthier and supporting healthy food. And being that we are the women who feed our families. I mean, you put dinner on the table, or maybe there's somebody whose men cook in the house, but generally speaking, it's us. And maybe the man cooks and you shop or whatever it is, the power is in the buying. And if you say no to the unhealthy stuff and yes to the healthy stuff, you can take down the unhealthy businesses that are, frankly, trying to kill us for a profit.
Nikki, you just nailed it. Like you give me so much hope that consumers understand this and see the connection and like connect those dots, because we can deprive these businesses of money just by choosing, like every time you choose an empowered cookie over something else, which I can't,
Yeah, we don't want to talk crap about anybody. Right.
But you're saying this is what I care about, and big business is going to follow your money, and that's just the society that we live in. And so if we all put our money into ethical, sustainable places where we're proud, every ingredient in here is something I can get behind, it's good for my body, it's good for the environment, no animals were harmed, then like those big businesses are going to follow suit. And that's what we're seeing. We are seeing a huge movement in the plant-based field of everybody trying to go plant-based, which is awesome. Call it a trend, I don't care. Whatever brings you to the end result of let's get people healthier, let's get this junk out of your bodies, off these shelves. I mean, you go into like a 7-Eleven, and this is what's like so unfair about food deserts, and there's all these socioeconomic issues about food, but it should be criminal to peddle to people that this is healthy and you turn it over and there is a ingredient list this big for a cookie. A cookie takes ingredients.
And you can't read half of them.
No, and neither can your body. And it's just a lose, lose, lose. And I don't want to be a part of that at all. And the food system, food industry doesn't pay, but what it pays in is impact. Right. And the fact that there's so many people like you who are like, wow, this is so simple. This is so good. Why does it have to be so complicated with other brands? And I'm really proud to offer that like health simplicity and something that is clean, ethical,
You feel good about eating every single bite. And again, I don't want you guys to not focus on how yummy these are. I mean, they are moist. You can mush them remember when you were a kid, talk about yucky stuff. There was a white bread that we ate when we were kids, and you could mush it into a ball, and that was so fun. You can do that with these cookies.
Did a great recipe. She took the ginger molasses and made it into a pie crust and just like lightly pushed it into a pie dish, and then made her cheesecake on top of it, and it like smushed down like a natural pie crust, and it was a great idea.
I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah. I love that. And also I wouldn't mind doing that with like a cookie type of pie with the chocolate one, because that's my other favorite one. That's
a great idea.
Right? The dark chocolate one?
Like a no-bake cheesecake, that would be great.
Yeah, something like that with vegan no-bake cheesecake. So when my kids were little, and they would go in the shopping cart, and we would, go to the market, that was like so fun for them, which I can't imagine.
I know.
And we would go down the aisle, and of course my children watched Sesame Street and the Big Blue Bear show and all that stuff, and there were all those commercials for the crappy cereals. Mommy, look, crappy cereal number 1, crappy cereal number 2, crappy cereal number 3, and they're of course all on eye level, right? Mm-hmm. And they would scream about them, and I literally took them out of the cart once, and I showed them, see, these are, when you're 3, you can see these, and in this box comes a toy. Do you know why there's a toy in the cereal box? Does that seem weird to you? And they were like, why, Mommy? And I was like, because what's in the box is not what people want to buy. But if children scream and holler enough about the toy, the moms want the kids to be quiet, and I'll buy you a toy, and I'm gonna buy you this cereal that's up here that's healthier. Right. And I'll buy you any toy you want to play with, but I'm not getting you the free toy in the box so that they can sell you crappy food to make you sick.
100%. I mean, I don't think a lot of moms have the bandwidth to be educated to have that understanding.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a mom yet, but it's criminal. I mean, the way those big companies market to the vulnerabilities of a busy mom and the vulnerabilities of a child who has an inkling for sugar, it's so unfair. It's like the tobacco industry. So
yeah,
we need the food system, or the food shelves are like, there's so many incredible brands out there doing awesome things and making really great food out of like making like mushroom jerky. And we're living in a great time of options. And so now that there's so many, and we're people behind these brands, we're like the last to get paid and the first to show up. And the passion of people in the food industry is so contagious, and we're all obsessive, and we're fighting that good fight. And it does feel like so meaningful. And what is more basic than food? Like, what is more intimate than putting something in your mouth? I mean, that's
at the end of the day, as far as stuff goes, that's the only stuff that matters, right?
Can buy
stuffing, stuff, all that. So when you decided to take on the food industry and to actually be a woman in a small business, were you scared? How did that whole thing start? How did you talk yourself into believing you could do this?
I am obsessed with food, and so I couldn't even as a child, like talk about OCD. Oh my God. Like I have two sisters and I would like make my plate of food. And if I wanted extras, I would like make a plate and cover it and put it in the fridge and put my name on it and like tell my sisters like, don't touch that. Don't even look at it. I was like, very like territorial over my food. And as the years went on and I was always, whether it was like waitressing or being the dishwasher, I always found myself in a restaurant setting. And I saw quickly that my love of food might be stifled if I work in that kind of environment. And so I moved to being a personal chef. And I think a great way to get into an industry is to be a freelancer for a while, to make sure, do you really want to do it? And then you can pick and choose your clients. And I will say that people inherently trust women. And they also, I was a pastry chef for a long time. And as a woman making cakes, there's must be something lovable about it, because especially for people who have food allergies, who are like, oh my God, I haven't had a cake in years and I can actually eat this because it's dairy free and gluten free. You build this
and for me, low sugar as a diabetic. I mean, there were lots of years, I was diagnosed at 18. So there were lots of years where I just couldn't eat stuff. Now, granted, lots of diabetics do. And like you said, people aren't educated. And it's so my education comes from being a diabetic, but also being an OCD diabetic, right? And so there were years where I couldn't find snacks that I could enjoy and not pay for big time by the end of the day.
It's not worth it. I mean, I had a woman tell me she takes a Benadryl before one of these cookies because she's allergic to almonds, but she loves them so much. I was like, let's find you a different cookie. But you're OCD because you have to be.
Right.
Like, that's the thing is like this industry, like I am blessed. I can eat whatever I want. And it wasn't always like that. And I had an issue with food allergies earlier on. And that's what led me into understanding what gluten was. But now that I'm back to be able to eat whatever I want, I understand the like life just fell between my fingertips when a doctor tells you can't have gluten anymore. You're like, what's the point of getting out of bed? I can't have my bread. So I want to reunite people with that, like, oh, I can eat delicious food again and meet all my dietary needs. But back to your question on business, I wasn't scared because I had built up clients that were so appreciative of what I did. So if you're solving a problem and you're solving a problem and you're working with those people whose needs you're meeting, they're going to totally make you feel this is where you're needed. Let me pay you. They're not going to push you too hard on prices. Like you have to find, and definitely not everybody is your customer. And so it's good to know, like, no is an amazing word. I don't think enough women say no. I think we as women are just like, yes, and people, and we have really loose boundaries because we're such natural caretakers and we oftentimes put ourselves last. And the amount of hours I've spent in the kitchen, the ungodly like shifts I have pulled, weekends, holidays, I have really hustled hard to be able to like work behind a laptop now and have a product. But a lot of people in the kitchens, it's very different now. I worked in the kitchens for years and now I work in CPG. So that's consumer packaged goods. Okay. Packaging. And that's because I wanted to build a brand and feed America, because there's all these problems, and in a kitchen, I couldn't do that. And so if anything, I feel excited. And a lot of times while I'm investing in fundraising, you end up in a lot of rooms with a lot of white men or just men in general. And I hear a couple of times, this is so cute. You have a cookie business, and I could just strangle somebody. I mean, women have said that to me too. But it's like, nothing is cute about working like 16-hour days. Like there's really nothing cute about the food industry. It's like, we are all like workaholics. And so I have such utter respect for anybody in food, no matter what they're doing. But I think if you're really overly passionate about what you're doing, if you think about it and would do it even if you weren't getting paid, you're going to push through those barriers. You're going to be obsessive, and that's going to be very contagious and palpable, and people who meet you are going to just be like entranced with your obsession, and that's going to get you through a lot of doors.
Yeah. Okay, I want to keep talking about Women's Month and Women's Day, but again, I don't want people to forget how delicious these are. And I'm just going to keep doing this, you guys, because it's Women's Month and we're talking about this, or International Women's Day and Women's History Month, but I don't want you to forget how yummy this is. And the fact that it's delicious, and what's really important is what we're talking about beyond the deliciousness of it. Please don't forget how delicious it is. You said no is a powerful word. What do you mean?
I think just like, there's so many opportunities that present us nowadays that are no's. There's so many ads that present us that are no's. There's so many people wanting our time that are no's. And just, I think we have to be stronger filters for the society that we live in, because we're getting it from all angles, and we're not meant to consume this level of information or awareness about all these issues. And it can be really overwhelming. And women are just naturally, you know, our natural ability to want to communicate and to build, you know, safety nets emotionally for our friends and family, and all the roles that we play as being mothers and sisters and aunties and daughters, and, you know, add an entrepreneur to that. And it's like literally, I think I posted today that I think women are the modern day superhero, because it's just, you know, you're breastfeeding, vacuuming, audio dictating, emails, cleaning, like who does all this?
We do.
I think that is, and to raise a younger generation of women who are not afraid to say no, whether that's, you know, there's such a fear that like I'm closing the door and I might miss an opportunity on the other side. But self-respect and self-love is understanding, you know, there might be 10 options and one might be amazing, and I have to be strong enough to trust that and get my way to that number 10 yes. And whether it's a man or a job opportunity or a good deal, you know, to not be instinctive and impulsive, and to be instinctive and to trust your gut.
Yeah. And when people are telling you it's cute that you have a cookie company, and maybe somebody says no to you and tells you that you should probably not do this, the answer no, if you believe what you do and you're passionate about what you do and all of that, is what gives women the strength to carry on. You know, I mean, there are so many times in my day, I don't do what you do, but I had twins, I worked, I'm married, I had a job. There are so many things I had to turn down while I was breastfeeding and doing things, and all the things I said no to, I'm okay with, and especially yucky food. So we talked about the fact that you started as a pastry chef, but not professionally, but you were doing it as a private chef, a private pastry chef for people who had allergies and stuff.
I was doing wedding cakes, and so I had a food allergy, and I was really trying to satisfy my sweet tooth. And so I got into the kitchen and got some pretty good recipes that I created. And so word of mouth just spread where I was. And I started making, like, people like, oh, I have a birthday party I'm trying to get a cake for, cupcakes for. And so that was my entryway into being an entrepreneur in the food, you know, system. And that was when I was 24. And that was the last time I had a boss. That was at age 24.
That's incredible. And it seems to me, and I haven't really studied this, but that most chefs and pastry chefs are men. So was that a difficult thing for you to get respect as a woman I mean, you wouldn't think it would be that way, considering that mostly in the world it's the women who feed the family. But am I right that most chefs and pastry chefs are men?
Yes, I would say definitely most chefs. There is something, I don't know if like Martha Stewart or Betty Crocker or somebody kind of like through repetition, or maybe most mothers of the house might bake, at least for your birthday. A lot of people were not surprised that I was a woman pastry chef, but I will say industry wide, I think most women do have to, you know, there's a great quote, like, if they don't make a seat for you at the table, bring a folding chair, because you do have to kind of wedge your way in there and stand on your talent, and know that, like, this, you should lean into what makes you different, because if in a room full of 9 men and 1 woman, you are different, and that can be the best thing going for you. That
can be your superpower.
Totally.
Okay, what is that?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Having a phone on airplane doesn't work.
Okay, well, and then there's that. Well, there's a little bit of music to our delicious feast that we're having while we're talking about the strength of women.
I love that ginger one, especially if you're into healthy food. That ginger has like 3 kinds of ginger. It's got the crystallized, it's got the raw ginger.
Oh, I got to pick out one of those big crystals. And there's like these big crystals of ginger in it, and sometimes you get that in a bite. And also, speaking of big pieces of in the bite, I'm going to show you guys this. So oh my God, can you see the dark chocolate chips in there? And it's like in every bite, and they're so rich, and they're so, did I say yummy yet today?
You could say it again.
They're so yummy. Okay, so when a woman in business that is run by men, which is most businesses, and like you said, by mostly rich white men, and they just think you're cute and, you know, want to pinch your tush and eat your cookies, which sounds very dirty.
Probably not far from the truth, though.
Probably not. I've been in some of those rooms. So, what advice would you give to men as a woman who is running a successful business? What do you think that men could learn from a woman like you?
Great question.
Thank you.
Before I answer that, so I have two sisters, and my dad would never call himself a feminist, but he is a feminist. Being the father of daughters, he very much raised us to be like kick ass, take names, almost bulldoze your way through if you need to. So I come at this answer from that perspective.
Good.
I think men need to see the benefits, whether it's to your bottom line or to like campaign and brand building. That the way that women think might frustrate them because it's not the hallway linear, black and white thinking, but the circular way that women tend to be able to see the long-term effects of starting this endeavor and understanding that the creative nature of a woman is going to benefit you, because when you're building a brand, and nowadays who's not building a brand, be it a personal brand, every single person is out here selling themselves, whether it's me saying, hey, eat healthier, or you saying eat healthier. We're all trying to get each other to subscribe to our way of thinking. Mm-hmm. And women are natural, call us saleswomen. Women are naturally persuasive. We naturally connect with people. We naturally just like shoot the shit in this way that makes us feel connected. Like I feel like I could confide in you in a way because I'm not afraid to be vulnerable and intimate. And those are things, when you're building a brand, that's like your highest currency is emotional availability. And you can't put a price on that. You can't teach that. You really just have to pray you were raised with confidence or years of therapy or something. But I mean, that's something that's why newscasters are women in this way, where women just have this like storytelling ability that I think is inherent to us. And I hate to say it, but it's in a good way being capitalized right now. I mean, that's what social media is. It's like women out there, not, of course, it's all women, but the majority of content creators, the highest paid ones are women across all platforms. And I love to see it because it's women getting paid basically to be themselves and to promote lifestyles that are usually great for, the masses. And so I would say for men to see that there is a natural vulnerability, that if you allow a woman to feel she can be in her element, that her way of connecting with the audience is going to be something that's so invaluable and again can't be taught or bought. So pay attention.
So more women need to be CEOs and all of that.
Totally.
Right.
And it's good for your lower turnaround. You don't want to be burning through employees. Like you want retention, you want to keep talent. And so the best way to keep great talent is to make them feel appreciated, make them feel loved, ask them when their birthday is, like really simple stuff.
And remember it.
It's just genuine thoughtfulness. And women wrote the book on thoughtfulness. Yeah. And it's something that's inherent to us. And so it's genuine. And that's when you think about why you stayed at a job you didn't like, it was probably because somebody cared about you. And that tends to be, the woman who wrote the little note, happy birthday or whatever. So I think
there are some men like that too. Let's not totally diss them. But I think what you're saying about the idea that bringing vulnerability and the thoughtfulness to a company, especially since most of those companies are selling to women who are vulnerable and thoughtful. And so, I think that's a really important message that really doesn't exist in the boys' office.
Yeah. It's not, so much comes with a price tag, and if it's not quantifiable, it's not really taken action on. And women don't usually look at things like that. We just primarily aren't wired like that. Mm-hmm. And so I really think that the emotional availability and the ability to connect, I mean, I've been on QVC and we're going to go on the Home Shopping Network, and the whole, and they call their customer her, because those women are, the audience is women, the staff is women. And there's this incredible connection of just trust. I mean, these women can sell perfume online.
I know, you can't smell it.
That is
cookies that you can't taste.
Totally. I mean, it's an art. There's something energetic that we're exchanging here, and the women are just naturally at that. Yes. And so that's something that we should, as a team, we should utilize more.
I bought stuff from there. Not embarrassed to say that. Yeah. I mean, kind of embarrassed, but not really embarrassed. Okay, so we talked about the fact that 85% of what's spending is happening is because of us. And again, women, look at the commercials that your children are watching, the food that your husbands are asking for. Even when you feed your dog, there are companies that make food that isn't full of crap, right? And what do you think is holding America back from not supporting that? I mean, do you think it's just because they make it so cheap? Because it was cheap to make, because that stuff is cheap?
Exactly. I hate to say, but it's all boils down to money, commodities. And I mean, so palm oil, like you mentioned, I'm like on a personal crusade to try to highlight why palm oil is so dangerous, but it travels under multiple names. It's in your toiletries, your makeup, your cleaning supplies, tons of prepared food, even healthy food, non-prepared food it's in, because it's a very, very cheap commodity, and it's responsible for like, I think 22 football fields a day just in, sorry about that, loud. So
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Yeah. That is the tone of it too. It's like, sorry.
It's okay.
But nobody.
It's a wonderful life. It's fine.
That was my mom too. Actually, it's cute. Yeah, nobody knows about this issue, and so it is. I mean, if you go to Europe, the food is way cleaner, and so I think that, well, obviously their government does a way better job, like being very meticulous about what they're allowing in as imports. In America, money, money, money. So cheap, cheap, cheap. And
yeah.
I hate to say, there is an idea that eating healthier is going to cost more. And that's true if you're getting like vegan sushi. But if you're just eating vegetables and plants and you have some idea of what to put them together or how to put them together, it's financially totally doable. Like, when you stop buying meat and dairy. I mean, cheese alone, cheese and yogurt, dairy products are super expensive. Eggs are like $8. And so I think that's a common misconception. But I think the reason why, America pumps so much trash into their food system is because the farms are subsidized by the government to grow GMO corn. I mean, there's dozens of documentaries on this topic.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to take in. And if you don't even want to deal with that, just like buy non-GMO, just that one thing.
Yeah. Makes a big difference and tells our government, we don't want this.
Exactly.
And even if you don't know a lot about it, then trust me and Natalia, you don't want this. It's not good for you.
Totally.
I understand that it's overwhelming, and a lot of people really don't not only want to think about it, watch the documentaries, or they don't even want to make the change, because it's just so easy to go down the aisles that they go down, get what they get, not even make a list because they know what they get every week, keep their kids happy, make everybody shut up. And it's funny because I raised my children in a very healthy home with food. And when the pandemic happened, I started to, I found a vegan butter. They're not vegan, and I'm not vegan, but I eat dairy-free. Mm-hmm. So I found a vegan butter that I could put into my vegetables, which, by the way, was way better than just steamed vegetables. and they have this kind of stuff. And by the way, it's all new stuff. So, you talk about the idea that, like, in Europe, they're so much more careful. I know people who have celiacs, or who are gluten intolerant, at least, maybe not celiacs. And then they go to Europe and they can eat bread and pasta.
Isn't that, when I learned that, I was like, hold the phone. Seriously? That speaks volumes for the way food is grown in each country. And I mean, especially to have a hypersensitivity to gluten and to be able to eat that exact grain protein in another country and not be inflamed. Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show it's not the grains problem. It's the way we're growing them and what we're growing them with. It's the Roundup we're dumping on these crops. It's Monsanto. I'm saying it. It's all those things.
I mean, I don't want to be those women who are hassling, and there's enough of that going on, but it is true. And the Roundup and stuff, like when I walk my dog, dogs like to eat grass.
Totally.
I'll let my dog eat grass because I think that's why so many dogs are getting cancer.
Oh my, I didn't even know about that, but you're probably right.
I'm sure I'm right, whether it's Roundup or whatever else it is that gardeners and people are putting on their lawns. So there is delicious, healthy stuff like the Empowered Cookie.
Yeah, we're here to help you.
We are here to help you, not only help you learn about it, which, let me swallow this because...
Take your time. No, that is something that is so important to feel like there's hope. There's something that tastes how I want it to taste. It has ingredients I want it to have. It's basically a meal replacement. These cookies are so thick and moist and chewy. So my three favorite words that pastries have to have.
Mhm.
And they're just like, yes, they're the opposite of a dry. I mean, if you do have celiac or you can't eat gluten, how many cardboard cookies have you tried? I mean, it's crazy. We have all these options. There's like 18, vegan butters to choose from. And some of these cookies are still tasting like the 70s.
Yep.
And so the Empower cookie is something that you're like, oh my God, this thing is exactly the kind of like, if I made like the fresh out of the oven taste and texture is basically what we're going for.
And they stay that way. And, it's funny that you say cardboard, because there's the way that my children have described stuff that I brought into the house before this: cardboard, dirt.
Right.
Is this one of those things that you think tastes delicious, but we're going to think just tastes like crap? Well, I don't know. Try it. And then, and the idea that they are made with the ingredients that they're made with. So again, let's go back to me and my OCD, because I don't want to take a ton of insulin in the morning. And because I am so low carb, there are let's see, the ones I eat, I don't have my glasses on, but there's 16 carbs with 4 grams of fiber, which means that there's 12 carbs. And because of the kind of fiber that's in Natalia's cookies, the glycemic index is slower, so you don't get slammed with the carbs. They are dispersed within a few hours, if you will. I'm not sure that's exactly how to say that, but I'm pretty sure that that's the idea of a low glycemic food, right?
Yes. No, that's the gist of it. We're actually going to partner with the Diabetic Association to do clinical tests so we can show diabetics, because we've had a couple people like you who said, wow, like the insulin is like surprisingly really low. And so the high fiber comes from flax meal. We use organic golden flax meal. So it's just flax seeds ground up. And so they have high omegas, but that also helps like slow the already slow glycemic index of the coconut nectar.
Mm-hmm.
And the cookies are made of almond meal. So you have, a good amount of fat, and it's good fat. It's like 18 grams of fat for a whole cookie. But, an avocado, most of us have like, avocado toast in the morning.
Yeah.
And, that'll be like 15 grams of fat. But if you get a cookie that has 18 grams of fat, you're like, oh my God. But you're like, well, you're still eating.
Yeah, listen. Avocado toast is yummy, but it is not as yummy as a dark chocolate chunk cookie, or a ginger molasses cookie, or a chocolate walnut cookie, or a lemon, what are the other ones? Lemon poppy seed.
Lemon,
lavender.
Seed, raisin walnut.
Yeah, and the idea that it's a meal replacement. So for me, I have my coffee in the morning and I have half a cookie. I could eat a whole cookie. Like if my sugars are low in the morning, I'll eat the whole cookie. Sure. But if I'm in a good place, I just have half a cookie. And then throughout the day, I munch on more of it. And because of the ingredients, I'm not hungry in an hour.
Exactly.
Sometimes I can forget to eat, which is a weird thing for a diabetic to do. You know what I mean? But I'm so satiated, not just with the glycemic index and the slow rise, or rather it's not even a rise, just the slow disbursement of the carb, and with all the protein and fat that's keeping me satiated. I got so involved in that, I forgot what I was going to say about it. But I think it's a meal. It is my breakfast. And I'm telling you guys, this is no lie. And when we said we were going to save you, we're also going to save you money, because I have a code that I will attach, NIKKI25, which is 25% off. So if you're going to complain about the fact that healthy food is expensive, you're getting a 25% discount also. And you can always use it with my name, and you can always get them, and you can try all 6 flavors, and you can buy them in packs of 3 that are the chocolate packs, or what's the other pack called?
It's called the fruity and floral, because there are people who cannot have chocolate.
Right.
Bless those people. So we offer a ginger molasses, a lemon lavender poppy seed, and raisin walnut variety pack for the non-chocolates. And then the chocolate packs come with the double chocolate chunk, the chocolate walnut, and the chocolate chip cherry. And you can get one of each variety pack, so you can try 12 cookies and see your favorite. And they make great gifts. I know a lot of people who live in, areas where they don't have like a Whole Foods near them, who are diabetic or have some kind of food allergy, who have to order a lot of their specialty food. Way to make their day is to send them something that they can actually have delivered to their door that's like right up their alley.
And you can also order a box of the one flavor that is your favorite, or the 2 that are mine. I get a box of ginger molasses and a box of chocolate like every 4 to 5 weeks I order another box. Right. And you mentioned that you're in Whole Foods. Where else are you?
We're actually not in Whole Foods. So we're not in the main like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Nugget. We're not, to get into business of it, but the margins aren't there. So retail is it's a lose-lose relationship, and it's like a race to the bottom. There's just too many middlemen in between our kitchen and the store. And so
that makes sense.
No place for profit. And also the grocery stores are so crowded with hundreds of other brands, it's hard to get seen, and you have to pay for that space and all the promotions. And so I'm pushing more to get into homes rather than grocery stores. And so we're most found online. We sell, across the country and in Canada, and we're on, Amazon, we're on QVC. You can find us on our website. There's so many places. You can email me and I'll give you coupon codes. There's so many places to try our product, and also, realize that with our product on our website, we have other brands that are like, if you like this, you might also like this. And so I really want to promote a like plant-based lifestyle that is, I'm not just trying to sell cookies here. I'm trying to
Right.
be a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, and supporting other lifestyle brands.
Exactly.
I'm guessing that COVID was kind of a good thing for you then, because we've all realized that you don't ever have to go to a market again.
I know. I mean, I will say, like, I love grocery stores personally. I love them. Weirdly love them since I was a child. And like, I used to be like, I want to work in one. And then I worked in one and I was like, this is horrible. They're freezing also. They're really cold. Yeah, grocery stores are going out of style. Millennials, we are a click a button culture. And if we can be on the couch getting groceries delivered, paying $10 more, what have you, then so be it. So COVID was our best year, actually, that we had had since we started in September 2018, and 2020 was our best year since then. And it was because of the push to online. And it also did, I think, diversify, I think a lot of consumers discovered new brands that they found, and people were just glued to their phones because we didn't have a lot much else to do. So it was a great place to like say, hey, we exist. If you're vegan or XYZ, you would love our product. So, that was one of the benefits of COVID for business wise.
Before COVID, mom and pop small businesses didn't really stand a chance. But with online and, anybody who can sell anything on Amazon and get your emails out and send it just through your own stuff and not have to pay all those people and all that, I think it's kind of a good thing. I mean, if we're looking for silver linings, I say yay.
Totally. I mean, social media, it gets a bad rap, but it's inherently a marketing storytelling tool. It's just up to us to have discipline how we use it.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for those platforms. I mean, I have discovered my favorite brands. Like, I actually love ads because my algorithm knows me so
That's
well.
right.
My favorite skincare, my favorite vegan shoes, my favorite mud water, like all these things that I'm just
mud water. Can we talk about that for a second?
Our
oh my
cookies
God.
and mud water are like such a good marriage.
That's my morning.
Yes.
Okay, if you guys don't know what mud water is, look that up too.
Yeah.
And it is delicious and it's really good with the cookies. Are you doing anything else besides the cookies? Do you have anything else planned?
In my personal life or in business?
Well, yeah. In business. Are you going to make any other foods?
So we are coming out with new flavors of cookies.
Oh, yay.
So we're going to come out with 2 holiday flavors. It's going to be a pumpkin chai and then a thick mint. So it'll be like a mint peppermint version of our double chocolate chunk.
Oh.
And then we have another SKU we're going to be releasing. If you are a coffee chocolate lover, you'll like it. Those are coming out in the fall. And then, yes, we are going to do product extensions. I want to do... So, I mean, some of them are a little secret, but one of them that I can share is if you ever had, everyone's had an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm from the Bay Area. And so the It's It sandwiches are like a San Francisco classic. It was this giant ice cream sandwich with this, pretty thin, it was more about the cookie than the ice cream. And so our cookies make great cookies for the ice cream sandwich because they're so soft, they can like fold around the ice cream. And so that it doesn't like ooze out the sides too much. So we're going to pair with another vegan and low sugar gelato that's women owned.
Oh my God.
To make that and then sell them. We sell in gyms, we sell in yoga studios, we sell in acupuncture clinics and juice bars and like really cool places where all of us, mostly women, are living our lives and
aware of healthy snacks.
Exactly.
And looking for them.
Yeah, I mean, like even just like going to an airport, like most women are like, gotta pack snacks. It's like you can't even find like an organic banana. And like obviously I'm not eating organic every single second of the day, but if you can, why not?
Yeah.
And so that is something where, as a lifestyle brand, something that like goes well with your green juice. Those are the places that we sell in. So, I mean, post-COVID, I think a lot of brands have been able to get exposure. And we as communities have realized if you don't want a world run by Amazon, you got to support small business.
Yeah.
So that's important.
I think it's all great. Okay, one more question about those ice cream sandwiches. When are they coming?
I mean, when's my fundraising coming? And then I'll be able to tell you.
All right,
It's
I
supposed
get
to
it.
happen by this summer.
Oh, that would be delicious. I will be looking so forward to that.
I'll let you
And
know.
you guys will be able to use my discount on those too, I'm hoping.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I hope that you'll try these. I wish I could send a box to everybody. If for some reason you're broke and you love my show and you can't afford them, I promise I'll send you a box. Just ask me to.
I'll
And
go in on that with you, Nikki. We can
okay, yeah.
people. Yeah.
Just we need to spread the word, and not that she needs the word spread because she's doing a great job, but just because it's so delicious, I do not want you to miss out on any of it. I want to make sure that that I didn't forget any of my cookies. There's something wrong with my brain. I want to make sure I didn't forget any of my questions. It's kind of sounds like cookies. I think I asked you everything. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that as a woman in business and to support a woman that you want to give advice to, or just say, don't be afraid, do this? What's your on the goodbye of this? What do you want to tell women who are in business?
That I think if you have a great idea that you're not sure if people will like, the only way is basically just to try it. Like this idea of, my biggest fear in my life is regret. And I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would way rather sleep knowing that I tried and failed or knowing that I didn't try. And it sounds really cliche, but the thing about business is like, you have to just put one foot in front of the other and not worry about everyone's like, but what about this? And what about this, law and certification and this, fundraising and all that. But like the pieces will come together if you start moving in that direction. And there is something that combines when you're putting all your effort in. There's just like scientifically, there's no way you could be putting thousands and thousands of hours into something without a boomerang effect happening. And so I think just like trust the process. And sometimes it's painstakingly slow, but just try it. You're probably going to meet some of your best people you've met because along the way, they're going to care about what you care about. And if you're not so obsessed with, turning a profit right away or justifying your time and just saying, I have this burning thought every day that I can't get out of my head. Sorry.
That's okay.
And, you should trust that.
Mom is saying, you tell those women, tell those women what we taught you.
She had to bake too. She's an amazing baker. But yeah, no, I would say try on it. Don't sleep on it. Try it.
Don't sleep on it. Try it. That's right there. That's a good message. And don't take no for an answer. Hustle, push, and we're women, and there's nothing we can't do.
Total women do it better. If you ask me, women just our way of thinking. I'm always every business I work with, I'm like, can I just talk to the woman there? I love men. I have a great partner, great boyfriend. I was raised by a wonderful father, great men, love men. I will just say there's not enough appreciation for women's roles in business. So yeah.
We know that, and that's why they make a month dedicated to us.
Exactly.
Just in case anybody doesn't know that, every year we get a reminder.
Right.
Okay, ladies, and anybody who's not a lady but loves a cookie, the Empowered Cookie. My favorites are the dark double chocolate chunk and the ginger molasses. Love these. There are 4 other flavors at the moment. There's going to be more. There's going to be ice cream sandwiches. Which one is that? That's your favorite?
Chocolate chip cherry.
And
I love
you have
it.
a
There's little bit
favorite.
of orange in it with the cherries and the pumpkin seeds and the dark chocolate. Super good.
I bet my husband would love that because he likes chocolate covered cherries.
I know, totally.
So, and I've never thought about getting. Well, I guess I'll have to order some of those.
Yeah.
And you should think about ordering those too, everybody. Natalia, thank you so much. And here is to women in business and what you're doing. I am so grateful for your cookies. I'm so grateful for your time, and I am so grateful that you are supporting me and becoming my sponsor. I am thrilled, and there is nobody I'd be more proud to have as my sponsor than you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great because this conversation showed me even more of why our brands in a sense align, and we clearly have an understanding of each other's like thought processes, and we're both OCD with our food, which is great. But no, I'm honored to support you and feed your family and fuel Conversations Matter.
I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere because I'm not done talking to you. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you loved meeting Natalia. Please try her cookies. Use my code, get 25% off. You will not be sorry.
Amen. You will not be sorry.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.